I wanted to know, what is the structure of that joke? Why is that joke funny?
Jerry Seinfeld was born in Brooklyn, New York, on April 29, 1954, into a family that valued storytelling, wit, and resilience. His father, Kalman, a Hungarian immigrant, had an innate ability to craft jokes, many of which were shaped by his experiences during World War II. At family dinners, Kalman would recount stories with humor and exaggeration, turning ordinary events into performances. Jerry's mother, Betty, brought her Syrian Jewish heritage into the mix, embedding a rich tradition of cultural storytelling. These combined influences created a subtle yet powerful stage in Jerry's early life, where observation, reflection, and humor became tools to navigate everyday life. From a young age, Jerry recognized the power of noticing small details and turning them into a joke, a skill he honed quietly, yet intensely. His upbringing in Massapequa, Long Island, alongside his sister Carolyn, provided both the stability and the challenge of sibling rivalry, pushing Jerry to refine his observational skills and learn to express himself through humor in a way that would later define his career. Childhood observations and early curiosity. Growing up, Jerry's fascination with comedy was more than mere play. It was an immersive curiosity about human behavior. He would spend hours observing the quirks of family members, neighbors, and strangers, cataloging these moments in his mind. One of the earliest examples of this creativity was in his father's sign painting shop, where Jerry would craft witty signs that drew attention from customers. These small successes reinforced the idea that humor could connect people, turning ordinary interactions into shared laughter. At home, he often felt overlooked compared to his sister, which taught him the value of turning personal challenges into material for comedy. By the age of 8, he was already keeping a handwritten joke file, refining setups and punchlines obsessively. This period of concentrated attention to detail and repetition laid the groundwork for a career built on precision. He didn't just want to be funny. He wanted to understand the mechanics of humor, analyzing timing, phrasing, and audience reaction with a scientific approach that would serve him well in his later work as a stand-up comic and television creator. High school and performance experimentation. During his high school years at Massapequa High, Jerry's comedic instincts began to merge with performance. He joined the drama club, but quickly found scripted lines uninspiring. Instead, he improvised, inserting jokes into plays and skits, often eliciting laughter from peers and occasionally irritation from teachers. These early experiments taught him the importance of authenticity in humor, the need to balance spontaneity with structure. Beyond the classroom, Jerry performed at school events and community gatherings, gradually earning a reputation as someone who could make people laugh without relying on conventional setups. This period also strengthened his observational abilities, as he noticed the subtle behaviors of classmates, teachers, and family members, which he would later translate into his comedic work. Humor became not only a way to entertain others, but also a lens through which he interpreted the world. By high school, Jerry's focus on comedy was deliberate and disciplined, foreshadowing a lifetime of meticulous preparation, practice, and refinement of material that would ultimately transform stand-up comedy. Early exposure abroad. At 16, Jerry Seinfeld experienced a formative summer in Israel that left a lasting mark on his comedic instincts. The trip was not glamorous. It was physically challenging and socially complex, but it offered him something more valuable than comfort. It provided a lens to study human behavior in vivid, unpredictable ways. Surrounded by people from different cultures, languages, and routines, Jerry noticed the tiny conflicts and misunderstandings that unfold in daily life. Couples argued over chores, neighbors squabbled about minor inconveniences, and every interaction had its own rhythm of comedy. To Jerry, these weren't just observations. They were raw material for storytelling. He began understanding that humor often comes from subtle, universal truths rather than exaggerated theatrics. This immersion also strengthened his observational skills. He learned to see the patterns in human behavior, recognizing that across cultural differences, people react in surprisingly similar ways to everyday frustrations. Airports, family dinners, and social etiquette would later feature in his routines, drawn directly from experiences during this summer. More than just jokes, This trip reinforced Jerry's early belief that comedy can bridge divides, connecting audiences through shared experiences and the universal absurdities of life. It was a foundational period, nurturing the mindset of someone who could find humor anywhere, in anyone, and in every situation. College years and early stand-up. In 1974, Jerry enrolled at Queens College, drawn by its proximity to New York City, a hub for emerging comedians. On the surface, college offered a standard education in communications and theater. But for Jerry, the real classroom was the city's comedy clubs and open mic nights. He immersed himself in performances, studying established comedians with a scientist's precision, noting their timing, pauses, gestures, and the way they read an audience. His first attempts at stand-up were challenging. The silence of small crowds or polite chuckles could have discouraged most. But Jerry treated each performance as a learning opportunity. He carried notebooks filled with ideas, setups, and punchlines, constantly rewriting and testing material. College became a dual training ground, a structured study of performance theory in the classroom and hands-on experimentation on stage. Jerry's focus during this period went beyond simply making people laugh. It was about understanding the mechanics of humor, how delivery shapes perception, and how observation translates into universal connection. By graduation, he had cultivated a professional mindset that treated comedy not as a hobby, but as a disciplined craft requiring both creativity and analytical precision. Early career struggles. After college, Jerry entered the world of stand-up fully aware that the path would be demanding. Financial instability, irregular work, and repeated rejection were constants. Brief stints in conventional office work quickly confirmed that comedy, not clerical tasks, was his calling. He dedicated himself entirely to performing in small clubs, often for minimal pay, sometimes sleeping on friends' couches or living day-to-day on tight budgets. These formative years taught resilience. Jerry embraced failure as an essential part of growth, understanding that each poorly received set offered insights into timing, audience expectations, and material refinement. Observing the ordinary quirks of apartment living, airline travel, and interpersonal interactions became the backbone of his emerging comedic voice. Unlike other performers who relied on exaggerated humor, Jerry found power in subtlety and observation. This period cemented his work ethic and obsessive attention to craft. He measured success not by immediate applause, but by the precision, clarity, and effectiveness of his jokes. It was a time of relentless practice and self-reflection, forming the foundation of a career defined by consistency, patience, and the art of turning everyday life into comedy. Persistence through challenge. The early stages of Jerry's career were not easy. He faced financial pressure, sparse audiences, and the constant challenge of proving himself. Yet persistence became his hallmark. Each setback became a lesson in resilience, teaching him to adapt, refine material, and approach performance with renewed focus. Through this persistence, he cultivated a sense of self-reliance and determination. Rather than seeking instant recognition, Jerry invested in long-term growth, understanding that mastery in comedy required patience and continuous effort. These lessons prepared him for larger opportunities, laying the groundwork for eventual success on national stages and in television. Building foundations for television. By the early 1980s, Jerry's combination of observational insight, stage experience, and professional discipline positioned him for broader opportunities. Clubs, HBO specials, and televised appearances allowed him to refine material for wider audiences. Each platform required adjustments, yet the core principles remained: precision, relatability, and timing. This period marked the transition from stage performer to media-ready comic. He learned to translate live comedy into formats suitable for television while retaining the authenticity of his voice. These foundational experiences directly influenced his approach to Seinfeld, ensuring that the series would retain the subtlety, wit, and human-centered humor that characterized his stand-up routines. Cementing a lasting legacy. Jerry Seinfeld's early exposure abroad, college experiences, and initial professional challenges collectively forged the comedian's identity. Each step, From observing human behavior in Israel to meticulously crafting jokes in New York clubs, contributed to a voice rooted in reality and shared experience. By combining discipline, observation, and stage mastery, he established a framework for success that would endure across decades of stand-up, television, and beyond. The lessons of persistence, precision, and empathy from these early years became central to his creative philosophy. Through careful study, experimentation, and resilience, Jerry transformed everyday life into universally recognized humor, setting the stage for his later achievements. His journey underscores that comedy is not accidental. It is cultivated through observation, practice, and an unwavering commitment to understanding the human experience. Partnership with Larry David. In 1987, Jerry's collaboration with Larry David became a defining moment in his career. The two shared a fascination with the minutiae of daily life, the awkward social interactions, the small annoyances, and the idiosyncrasies of human behavior. Their partnership led to the creation of a sitcom concept initially called the Seinfeld Chronicles, which would eventually become Seinfeld. NBC's initial skepticism was overcome through persistence and creative risk-taking, ultimately resulting in a show that broke conventional television storytelling norms. Jerry's contributions were integral as he brought his deep understanding of timing, observational humor, and character-driven comedy to the series. The collaboration emphasized authenticity, with stories drawn from real-life experiences and everyday absurdities. Larry's structural and narrative strengths complemented Jerry's meticulous attention to detail, creating a symbiotic creative environment. Together, they forged a sitcom that would become iconic, demonstrating that thoughtful collaboration, grounded in mutual respect and complementary skills, can redefine an entire medium of entertainment. The rise of Seinfeld debuted in 1989 and gradually grew into a cultural phenomenon, celebrated for its unique focus on the trivial aspects of life. Early struggles with ratings did not deter Jerry or the creative team. They continued to innovate, experimenting with dialogue, scenarios, and character development. Episodes like The Soup Nazi or The Contest exemplified their commitment to authenticity, drawing humor from recognizable experiences amplified by absurd yet believable circumstances. Jerry's insistence on precise timing, observational accuracy, and personal involvement in writing elevated the series above conventional sitcom formulas. The show's success lay in its relatability. Audiences saw their own habits, frustrations, and quirks reflected on screen. By the early 1990s, Seinfeld achieved critical and commercial acclaim, becoming a touchstone in American television. The combination of Jerry's comedic vision, Larry David's narrative expertise, and the cast's skill created a series that balanced subtlety with sharp humor, offering lessons in the value of precision, consistency, and creative authenticity in storytelling. Control and creative influence. As Seinfeld gained prominence, Jerry sought greater control over his work, ensuring that scripts, performances, and episodes aligned with his comedic vision. He was actively involved in rewriting scripts, adjusting lines, and shaping character interactions. This level of involvement was uncommon for actors at the time and reflected his commitment to quality and authenticity. By exerting influence over creative decisions, Jerry maintained the precision and style that defined the show, ensuring consistency across episodes. His meticulous attention to language, timing, and delivery ensured that humor remained sharp, understated, and relatable. This period highlighted Jerry's belief that creative integrity is crucial to lasting success, and that even subtle adjustments can significantly impact audience reception. Through hands-on involvement, he nurtured a distinctive comedic identity for both himself and the series, demonstrating the importance of blending artistic vision with practical execution to create enduring cultural impact and maintain professional standards. Iconic episodes and cultural impact. Seinfeld produced episodes that became landmarks in television history, such as The Contest and The Soup Nazi. These stories exemplified Jerry's approach, extracting humor from everyday occurrences and exaggerating them just enough to highlight absurdity while maintaining authenticity. The series introduced phrases and scenarios that entered popular culture, reflecting its deep resonance with audiences. Jerry's attention to realistic detail, timing, and observational insight allowed viewers to see reflections of themselves in the narrative, forging a lasting emotional connection. Beyond entertainment, the show influenced subsequent generations of comedians and writers, demonstrating how subtle, character-driven humor can achieve both critical acclaim and widespread popularity. Its impact extended beyond the screen, shaping perceptions of social norms, language, and cultural habits, proving that comedy rooted in observation and human insight can resonate universally while maintaining originality and intellectual engagement. Financial success and legacy. Seinfeld's career translated into substantial financial success, from syndication deals to streaming agreements. By the late 1990s, he had become one of television's highest-paid actors, benefiting from back-end deals that ensured lasting revenue. Syndication, streaming rights, and continued touring solidified his financial independence, allowing him to focus on creative endeavors rather than commercial pressures. Beyond monetary gain, his legacy was defined by a dedication to craft, mentorship, and innovation. He organized extensive archives of jokes, maintained disciplined writing routines, and influenced the next generation of comedians through instruction and guidance. Financial and professional achievements were secondary to his commitment to comedy as an art form, emphasizing that success is most enduring when coupled with discipline, precision, and a lifelong dedication to creative excellence. His approach illustrates that lasting legacy is built on both talent and unwavering commitment to continual improvement and refinement. Later work and innovation. In the 2000s and beyond, Jerry continued to innovate through projects like Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Broadway appearances, and virtual performances during the pandemic. He experimented with formats, integrating real-time audience interaction, unconventional platforms, and improvisation into his work. Each project reinforced his principle that comedy thrives on observation, timing, and relatability. His dedication to mentorship and preservation of joke archives reflected a commitment to sustaining the craft. Innovations such as virtual performances during the 2020 pandemic demonstrated adaptability, showing that humor could connect audiences regardless of format or medium. By constantly exploring new avenues, Jerry expanded his creative reach, ensuring that comedy remained relevant, engaging, and accessible. His work during this period underscores the importance of evolution, curiosity, and flexibility in sustaining a long-term career in entertainment, balancing tradition with experimentation to remain impactful. Personal life and reflections. Jerry's personal life included long-term relationships, marriage, and parenting, which often intersected with public perception. His approach to family life emphasized presence, observation, and realistic engagement rather than performative affection. He acknowledged his own idiosyncrasies and differences, including his reflections on being potentially on the autism spectrum, and sought to integrate his personal insights into professional and philanthropic endeavors. He supported charitable causes, particularly autism research, quietly contributing substantial funds without seeking recognition. Personal experiences informed his work, providing material for observational humor while shaping his approach to mentorship, philanthropy, and family engagement. These reflections illustrate the complexity of balancing public and private life, demonstrating that personal integrity, thoughtful involvement, and self-awareness are crucial to sustaining both professional success and personal fulfillment over decades of public scrutiny. The enduring power of observation. Jerry Seinfeld's career is a testament to the enduring power of observation, discipline, and precision. From early childhood to global stardom, his ability to notice subtle patterns, amplify human quirks, and deliver humor with impeccable timing defined his artistic identity. His journey emphasizes that comedy is both a craft and a lens for understanding human behavior, requiring patience, meticulous practice, and a deep appreciation for everyday life. Across decades, his work has shaped cultural norms, influenced comedy standards, and inspired countless performers. Beyond fame and financial success, Jerry's legacy lies in the refinement of observational humor, demonstrating that the small, often overlooked moments in life can produce the most profound and lasting laughter when expressed with skill, insight, and authenticity. Mentorship and future plans. In recent years, Jerry has focused on mentoring young comedians, sharing insights into joke construction, timing, and editing. His approach emphasizes rigor, multiple revisions per joke, disciplined writing routines, and an analytical approach to humor. This mentorship reflects his commitment to preserving the craft and ensuring that emerging performers understand the foundational principles of observational comedy. Simultaneously, he continues to perform, tour, and explore innovative formats, including high-tech stage shows and collaborative projects. Jerry's future endeavors are guided by a dedication to creative excellence, audience connection, and adaptability, demonstrating that sustained success in comedy combines talent, discipline, mentorship, and continuous exploration of new ideas and formats.